There was a claim that in Germany there is a cult or a community connected to the Smurfs, supposedly an all-male village. We examined whether this is real. The truth is this: there is no such community. The Smurfs are not a real-world organization, cult, or secret male village. The Smurfs are a fictional comic universe created in 1958 by the Belgian cartoonist Peyo. It is fiction. Over time, various theories appeared on the internet. Claims like communist propaganda, hidden messages, or Masonic symbols were suggested. But none of these are supported by historical documents or evidence. They are mostly pop culture speculation. Then we move to this question: is the Smurfs village really only male? Yes. At the beginning, there were no female characters in the village. They were all written as male. But this was not a male cult. In 1950s children's storytelling, male characters were dominant. That was the narrative language of the time. And Smurfette? Smurfette was not originally a natural Smurf. She was created by Gargamel. What was his goal? To infiltrate the Smurfs, to create chaos in the village, to make the males turn against each other. In other words, sabotage from within. Gargamel's main objective was not romance, it was power. Either to capture the Smurfs and turn them into gold, or to use them for magical formulas. When Smurfette was first created, she was dark-haired, messy, grumpy, and disruptive. Papa Smurf performs magic and fixes her. After that, she becomes blonde, softer in appearance, and portrayed as good. From today's perspective, this can look uncomfortable. There is a visual shift that reads as dark equals bad, light equals good. But this is not a racial theory. It is fairy tale symbolism. In fairy tales, darkness represents chaos. Light represents order. Ugliness represents distortion. Beauty represents harmony. These are ancient narrative patterns. So is there something suspicious underneath? There is no evidence of a conspiracy. But there are cultural subconscious codes. 1950s Europe had stereotypical gender roles. Beauty standards were narrow. The blonde good princess archetype was common. This does not necessarily mean deliberate evil. It reflects the aesthetic codes of that era. The idea that Smurfette was created to disrupt the males connects to a much older archetype: Pandora, Eve, the sirens, the figure that introduces desire into a stable community. This is an old narrative template. The issue is not the woman herself. The issue is desire. The male village already contains suppressed impulses. Smurfette simply becomes the trigger. Then we asked, is this culture or is it external social engineering? The Smurfs were created in 1958 during the Cold War era, a male-dominated society. Storytelling relied on black and white symbolic structures. The comic industry targeted children. It was not a centralized propaganda machine designed for state manipulation. What does real social engineering require? A central plan, a long-term strategy, a political objective. Documented traces. There is no such evidence in the case of the Smurfs. However, cultural subconscious codes do exist. Fairy tale language repeats patterns like darkness equals threat, light equals safety, order equals collective stability, chaos equals desire or the external element. The creator may not consciously design a grand plan, but he carries the cultural software of his time. And this is important. Social engineering does exist in certain areas. Advertising, propaganda, mass media can operate intentionally. But assigning every symbol to a deliberate hidden plan is the brain's tendency to search for patterns. The human mind dislikes emptiness. It generates meaning. Sometimes there is no engineer, but culture itself functions like one. Not consciously, but through repetition, through transmission, through imitation. This is slower, but deeper, and often more permanent. So the conclusion is, there is no solid evidence of a grand hidden plan behind the Smurfs. There are cultural patterns. There are aesthetic codes of the era. There are archetypal storytelling structures. We are neither completely naive, nor living inside an all-controlling secret design. Both things can be true at the same time. Culture leaves subconscious codes within us, and sometimes we overinterpret patterns. And maybe the deeper question is this: who does the real engineering? The state, or culture itself? Because culture moves more slowly, but it settles much deeper into the human mind.